Hello, everyone from inside the firm, neighbors, anyone may be interested in this project, developers, or looking to buy. So this is basically a recap of the neighborhood meeting for what we're calling Mark II. It's Chrisman Drive project in Longmont, Colorado. It's basically F9's development project, design, build, develop. So basically we're taking the role as all three. We're going to be the architects, the contractors, and then the developers. So a little bit of history about us, because I think it plays into what we're going to do. So Mark I, the concept is, it's from Canon, it's from product development, and it is basically the first iteration. So a lot of these projects, here, let's see if I can, there we go. We do residential homes. We do a whole bunch of stuff, but this is, kind of our design style for, this was a duplex, but one of the first projects that we got built here in Colorado. We also work for big developments, multi-unit residential developments, 100 lots, 200 lots, do traditional style. So it's not about style, it's about substance. Is the floor plan laid out well? Are we using good materials? All that, are we responding to the client? So we also do some pretty custom, modern crazy stuff. This is for a jazz musician and then a army doctor. So combining what they like together made a pretty unique and interesting house. Here's the interior of that. I really, really love this kitchen and that stair with the pond under it. We've also done townhome units. So our project is going to be townhome. So we're very familiar with this concept and what it's going to look like, and the pitfalls and the opportunities that we can kind of use. And also we've built. So I was in the Army, the National Guard, in a construction company. So I've built with them. Lance, my business partner, built since the age of 15. I have a master's in construction management. We both, own the architecture firm, and we have masters of architecture degrees. But this is essentially one of the first things that we built as a firm. We've obviously built other things by ourselves. But this got on HGTV. It's a tiny house. And what's cool about it is that we're tackling sustainability from a different perspective. So not just in architecture, there's normally the LEEDs or a HERS rating, which we'll probably do and get, but we want to boil down everything to the fundamentals. The fundamentals of sustainability to us is the elements. So earth, sun, wind, fire. So fire is basically, the sun, and water too. So how we're powering this is there's solar panels on the top, and it's slightly sloped. So not only is it a good angle for the solar panels, but we collect the water from there. So the water comes down, it goes into a filter and is stored under the tiny house. Also the sunlight, we really wanted to open up one side. Not only does that help in a tiny house really make the space bigger, but it extends the space to the outside. So we have a deck that folds down, an awning that folds up, and all that. We use LED lights, and then we do some really and then we simplify it too. So the majority of this is built out of metal, steel, wood, or glass. So simplification lets us do some really cool stuff. So here's the inside. There's a bar that you can open up the window so that the inside and outside really connect. Then we built these. So these were for a Fortune 500 company. This has a lot of moving parts. So instead of just half of the deck, so this deck right here, if you can see, my mouse folds up and it's halfway, and then this folds down and it's halfway, and it's the inverse relationship basically. Because the wheel wells, it's hard to get hinges here, so most of the hinges are here. So this is the bigger part, so it's more stable that way. And then this is the high part, which has the biggest overhanging, the biggest awning. So on this one, they wanted the whole thing. So this is the full height folds down and the full height folds up. Then we have a sky deck up here, and then that folds down for transport. All of these fold down. This comes off, all of these come off, and then this folds in half too and gets stored. So square inch to square inch, one of the most complicated projects that we've done. But we did it successfully, and it was on time, a very fast deadline, and under budget. Here's the two of them together, and here's the other side too. And then there was an awning on this other side, and these fold up. So really cool, really fun project. So we're taking all the lessons that we've learned from townhomes, from residential design, from building, not only from ourselves, but in our past, Army, just being a contractor, like Lance being a field guy too. And we're rolling that into what we call Mark II. So here's our site in Longmont. Once we get further along, we'll do presentations and we'll show you all the nearby amenities and all that. But it's a pretty small site, but I think we've used it quite efficiently. What you can't see is over here, we're in Longmont, that's in Colorado. There's the Rocky Mountains are right here. And one of the most beautiful mountains in the Rocky Mountains is Long's Peak. Longmont gets its name from Long's Peak. Longmont is not a tall community. This is on the higher side of the city. So once you get a couple stories up, you'll be able to see that gorgeous view. Also to the south west of Longmont, about by 12 to 15 miles, is Boulder. If you've been to Boulder, there's these things called the Flatirons. Probably the most scenic geological structure, on par with a lot of great national monuments. You should Google the Flatirons, and you'll see how beautiful it is. And you can see that from Longmont too. You'll be able to see that from these. We're not calling them sky decks. We're calling them upyards, and I'll go over that why we're doing that. So zooming in, we're going to have one access aisle, and then we're going to have 6 units on this side and then 3 units on this side. So this will be our offices, and then there'll be a duplex behind here, and then we'll have all these units on this side. There'll be a handicap space, extra parking out here, a turnaround, and then just trash and recycle enclosure right there. On the first floor, on this unit is basically going to be, and I'll actually go over these piece by piece, but just know that, these are separate units. So there's 8 total, and then our commercial space. Here's the view of the exterior that we have so far. We'll probably use metal here, a nice white stucco here, and then stone on the commercial project. So right here on a commercial project, this might change, but I always liked firehouses. So we developed this nice skinny proportions, and we're going to have this huge glass rolling door. And that's so we can bring in models, stuff like that, and then really open it up. And this is going to be a 2-story space, so it's really flexible. One thing I learned in New York when I was there, on the Lower East Side, there's always shops and stores, and not only because it's dense, but these spaces were 15, 16, probably sometimes 18, 20 foot tall. And they could always be used for whatever was put in there. So they've never been really torn down or redeveloped, because it's always been a useful, prosperous space. So that's what we're trying to make on the first 2 levels. Over on this side, there'll be a little mezzanine. We'll probably have a conference room up there, but this side will be open to the 2 floors, and then this is where we'll work, and then we'll have a sky deck up here. Same thing, these people will have a sky deck or what we're calling an upyard. So on the 2 different units, basically there will be a drive in between these, so these will be separate, but I just put this together so that we could see it on one view. So on this type of unit, we'll basically have a bedroom down here with a closet and a bathroom. This most likely will just be used as an office, and maybe for renting out, or for when your mom or dad come, or a friend comes, or something like that. On this other unit, basically we just have the carport. You have your sidewalk on the outside, just like here you'd have your sidewalk from the outside, so this would be your main entrance, and over here would be your main entrance, and you just basically go straight upstairs. There'll probably be some coat hooks right here, and then a place to put some of your shoes. Going upstairs over here, basically have the kitchen, living, dining room, a little powder space, and then the washer dryer, and then a place to hang coats right here. On this unit, basically we'll have the living room, the kitchen, and then this could be a flex space. Excuse me. So it could either be an extra bedroom because it has a closet and access to the bathroom. There'll probably be a door in there. Or it could be a dining room. And what this is right here is these 2 are going to slide open. so that if it was a dining room, you have a really open connection space. But if a friend comes, mom and dad comes, maybe the sofa can move, or you could have a bed in there, but it could be an extra bedroom too. So this is what we're looking at getting on that side. We think it works very nice. And then here's a rendering. Obviously it won't be the same, but it's going to be very similar to the level of quality, finishes, look and feel of that main level there. The other thing we want to do when we boil down to the fundamentals is we want to think about food and air, and how we're cleaning the air, and then how we're getting food. So there'll be options so that you can have a plant green wall, and that could either just be plants that clean the air, or maybe even herbs and maybe even strawberries, things, so that you could actually grow your own food on the level that you're living. So that could be placed right here, it could be placed right here, or right here, and we think it'd be a nice addition to the home. Going up again, so how we move up on this unit, so you'd land here, and then you'd go over here, and then you'd go upstairs. All of this is enclosed. Over here, there's a closet, and if you didn't want to stay on this level and go upstairs, you'd go up right here. So coming back over here, you'd land right here. You have, basically it's dual masters. You have a bathroom, a closet for this one, and then this is more the bigger master. They have dual sinks, they have a shower, a private toilet, and then a balcony right here. Now, let's go over here first too. So you land right here, dual masters. This would probably be the bigger one, where this one would be the smaller one, but basically you have all the amenities. The laundry's up on this level, which is nice on this one. Then if you want to go upstairs on either one, you have to go outside, because we're going up to the up yard. So you'd go outside, and then you'd wrap up to the up yard. Right here, you'd go outside, first time outside, and then you'd go to the up yard. And basically, this is from McIntosh Lake. I don't have a drone or a crane yet, so I couldn't get up on our property and get the view. But basically, there's nothing higher in between us and the mountains. And this is Long's Peak. So it's that picturesque kind of, from me, it's a perfect mountain shape. The Long's Peak is actually the one behind it. But again, people just consider this Long's Peak. They're basically connected. I don't have a picture of the Flatirons, but I'll put that in later. And then what we're thinking up, if you remember, if you had a view of the exterior, we're going to have this shade structure up there. It's called a rooftop structure. And you have the option to do bifacial solar panels. And what's cool about those is that it lets the light through. So then you can have a nice, as if you were under a tree, leaf-like feel on the top of your roof. And that's solving some of the power issues in a very sustainable way. Also, it's not too much expense to just add a basically raised garden. So there'll be a space where you can have a raised garden. You can plant tomatoes, you can plant onions, you can basically make a salsa garden, you can have potatoes. Basically anything you can plant in the ground, you can plant in a raised garden. Again, solving sustainability on that fundamental level. So not only are you producing your own food, your own energy, but you can compost too. So the leaves and all that stuff you can put in a composter, and then you can just bring it back into this garden, kind of capturing the full cycle of life. The last thing that we want to do is add one of these gas fireplaces. You will not be allowed to have a real wood fireplace, but a gas one you will. What's good about them is that the flame doesn't escape. There's not embers to escape. There's glass around there. But if you're up on this up yard, which will have a deck, you'll have this great view. So since these are essentially townhomes, multifamily townhomes, they're structurally independent. You don't have much of a yard of a backyard, but we took your backyard and put it on the rooftop up on top of your building. So that's why we're calling it an up yard. So you have the amenities of that backyard. You have shade, you have pergola, you have a place, you have a fire, you have a little garden. So all those amenities are still encapsulated in something where they normally aren't in a townhome. So that is our presentation. That's what we presented at the neighborhood meeting. So if you missed it, here it is. If you're interested either as an investor or as someone who'd like to buy these, you can contact me at akg@f9productions.com. Again, that's akg@f9productions.com. Thanks for watching.